Yes.
We are recording, guys. I am so excited about this training tonight. I just want to say before Michelle throws it down, that she is giving you guys and the community, anybody watching on YouTube, her time to really break down this particular system with Excel and how she's really taken her business to the next level. There is proof behind the pudding. She has not only used the system because it's a great one, she's used it because it works. She's used it because she has now produced 3 directors in her downline since really drilling into this and identifying her leaders. So Michelle, without further ado, and she is a director on her way to star. She is mine. So mine are my favorites. I'm a little biased. But I'll tell you guys, Michelle, it's pretty incredible, your journey and just how you've always been one to be willing to just figure it out until you've made it happen. And guys, this is something that she created on her own because every system she saw didn't fit her. And this is a big gap that we've had with anybody who loves Excel and who loves the digital, plug it in and you can get a formula. So yeah, I'm going to try and not get you guys in your feelings tonight, but if it happens, then it's just, it's kind of where we're at as a nation right now. So Michelle, baby, I'm passing it to you.
Okay. So, all right. So first thing, if you're on here, it looks like we have like 29 people on here. I hope you're a lover of all things Excel spreadsheets, because if not, maybe you will be by the time we finish this, but I totally am. I've used them since I was like 18. I started working when I was 18 in the clerical field, and I've used them for forever. I just kind of, this is basically my brain on a spreadsheet. So I hope my brain kind of like works with you guys. I know several of you have emailed me and asked me for this file. Chloe, I'm sure we'll update this file on to all the channels and all of the pages and all of this stuff. And I've also had some people that are not on our team pages that watch OG Boss Babes, which is where it's posted. So I don't mind sharing the training Excel spreadsheet that I have on here. So if you want to, this is going to be very interactive. So this is one thing that I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be very interactive. So if you have your computer up, I'm going to share my screen. So hold on. It's saying it's disabled, Chloe. You might have to like help me.
Okay, let me look. Allow. We got this, y'all. We got this.
We're gonna do this.
We are doing it. Okay.
And if you have questions, type them over there. I have people watching so they can like stop me in the process. So as we're going through this, if I'm explaining something that you don't understand or you want to know how to do something, that's the whole point of this training. I want to be very back and forth with everybody asking.
Hang on, Michelle. I'm trying to, I clicked the 3 little dots. I'm trying to figure out. Now click your 3 little, have you clicked your 3 dots by your name? Like so you can.
I see where it says share screen and it's green, but whenever I click on that, it says host disabled attendee screen sharing.
This is not true. Okay, hang on. Sorry, y'all, bear with me for a second. Cancel. Hang on. I'm sorry, Michelle. I don't know why I'm doing this. All right.
Jessica, I'm reading while Chloe's figuring that out. No, everybody does not have to have spreadsheet. This is just the way my brain functions. So this is the system that I use.
Yep, for sure. So sorry, Michelle, 1 second. Let me go get my husband real quick and have him figure this out. In the meantime, in the next minute or so, if y'all do have any questions, you can drop them for Michelle.
Yeah, I'm reading over here. So just kind of ask and see. This is like I said, this is the system that works for me. This is kind of how my brain works, being able to do that. And so You don't have to have them, but you know, find a system that works for you, most definitely.
Okay,
Okay, there we go.
Try now, Michelle.
Okay, yep, I got it. All right, so hold on. Let me just pull it up first on my screen here. Should have done that first.
It's okay. It's all gonna be okay. There we go.
All right, so let's shrink this down. Shrink that down. There's my family. It's over here, I know that much. See if this is the one. Yes, okay. All right, can you see it? I can't see any comments, so I hope y'all can see this. So
They can see it.
okay, good. All right. So basically this is the one that actually when we did our training last week, that most of you probably watched, my big spreadsheet, and I will show that to you just because if you're on here, I'm assuming you're an Excel enthusiast, so that might just get you in all your fields and everything. But this one is just a pay sheet. Okay, so the reason I created this was
Michelle, hey,
yep.
It's showing the Zoom, your Zoom. So
Okay.
share. When you go to share your screen, make sure you click your Excel that you have up. Is it up now?
Okay, hold on. Let me try again. Screen share.
Thanks, Whit. Whitney was like, I only see a Zoom screen. There we go.
There it is. Okay. All right. Thanks. See, that's what comments are for. Okay, so as I was saying, when I made this, I wanted to know like how much I was going to get paid. I made this whenever I hit director, or when I was working towards director the month before, and I was just like, you know, something. There's got to be a way to tell. So what I did was I went into the workstation, I pulled up our commissions history, and I just kind of drilled down. So I don't know if you know you're able to do that, but you can kind of like click on a number and drill down and see who falls up underneath that and what percentage you get paid for them and all of that. So basically that is this on this spreadsheet right here. These are just like some fake numbers that I entered in here, and I'll tell you kind of how this works. So if you don't know it, the only thing you need to look at for your paycheck is your frontline TWV. Okay, so that's the only thing. You might have 300 people on your team, but if you only have 75 frontline, those are the only ones that you really need to be worried about as far as figuring out your paycheck. So so this is where I would put like my person's name in here. Chloe was on my team last week. Chloe Cox, Tiffany Green, Anna Watson. So this is where you would kind of like fill in all of your people right here. And there I have, for me, this is how my brain works. So this is how many frontline I currently have. I took their names out. And this is their join date. And then this would be their names. And then this would be what their rank is. So for easy way to do this, is you would pull up your workstation, your dashboard. You would go to your start a downline report, and then you're going to want to go in and sort it by level. So you want to look at level 1. Okay, this is where all of these numbers are coming from for this particular thing right here. So you look at level 1, and I already have the formulas figured in here. So if you're looking at the TWV for this person right here, I already have the formula figured in up here. So once I enter in the amount of the PRV, the formula is already entered in to figure out what the TWV is, because we know that that's only 75% of one of your PRVs, okay? And then for certified, lead, star, superstar, you put your percentages here. You're going to find that on your compensation plan. If you don't know where that is, then that's in the back of your book, or you can search for it. But you put what percentage it is. And then once I change this, my PRV, it's automatically going to change this too, which is my projected pay, because as you can see right here, I already have the formula figured in there. So let's just say Chloe started off really well today, and she already has a $800 party that she's entered. So what I want you to look at right now is I'm entering 800, but I want you to look at this number right here and this number kind of at the same time. All right, we'll do a couple more, but kind of watch those numbers. So as soon as I hit enter, that 600, that went up to $600, and the projected pay from her is going to be $54. Okay, so all you really need to do is to pull up your workstation, change your levels to be level 1, and then you just kind of go down the line and just do whatever it is, and you'll notice that every one of these that I'm putting in here is going to be updated on both sides of here. Okay, some people don't have any PRV in yet, you know, some people do, but that's just kind of how you do it if you want to figure out your paycheck of what it's going to be. Once you do that, then all of these numbers down here, this is what's totaled up down here. So for me, I keep up with my PRV up at the top because, you know, that's part of our pay. So I put my PRV in up here. And then for those of you that are lead and above, if you have a team, I said this the other night, a lot of people don't really know this, but whatever your rank is, you get another percentage based off of your personal wholesale volume. Okay, so you're going to get, and you're going to find that on the performance tab. So there's going to be a little, when you click on the performance tab, it's going to have your PRV, your PWV, and your GWV, and your T, all of that's going to be broke down. So those first two numbers, you get since it gives us an extra percentage off of that. It's 75% of whatever our PRV is. So you're going to get an actual extra percentage of that. So I plug in my 25%, because until you get to 2,000, you get 25% of whatever. So let's just do, I'm at 1,400 now, so that's going to increase that to 350. And then this would be 75%, which my brain is not going to function. So I'm just going to change that to 960, and you'll see where it changes there. So once all of those change, then you'll see this number down here adding up, and it's going to change also. Okay. These numbers are already formulated in there so that they're automatically adjusting every time you get paid. Y'all, I literally do this every single morning. This is part of my morning routine. Okay, so whenever I log in every single morning, I bring up my worksheets, I bring up my spreadsheets, and then I just kind of plug everybody in as far as my paycheck goes. And then I have another one that I'll show you that's just like my big training kind of thing. But does anybody have any questions on how this over here is the red things? Some people asked about that. Those were like will cancels. If somebody's going to cancel on my front line, I want to know it. And this is just a quick way to glance at it to see how all the things are working there.
Yeah. So Michelle, there were a couple questions.
Okay.
So Sam asked Samantha Wynn, she said, if you're starting from absolutely nothing on Excel, how do you make this? Or was it posted? I think it was posted last week, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. Was this actual?
I don't know if just that the only thing in here is a pay sheet. Now the other one might have had all the other things on there, but we can post the training. I think I called this one training pay sheet. We can post this if this is the only thing that you want. It's just your training pay sheet. Then we can post it. I'll definitely post this one after it's over with.
Okay, cool. And then let's see. And then, yeah, Nicole, PWV is 75% of the PRVs, personal wholesale volume. Wholesale volume is 75% of the PRV. And then Maria said, she's the one that's deaf, so this is a little bit of an issue. She said, can you write up the formula for the last column?
Yes, there is a formula in the last column. It's right here.
Okay, so hang on. Keep that right there for a minute.
Okay.
Any other questions before Michelle moves on? Y'all ask away. F7, G7. There we go. That's all right.
Now that's the formula for that box.
Oh.
Okay.
Guys,
okay.
I don't know what I'm doing over here.
No, that's okay. That's the formula for that particular box. And what that formula is is it's the sum. So it's the sum of what's in these parentheses. So that's basically how you do a formula. So what this number is right here is F7. So you would look at F, this column right here, and then number 7 over here, which is going to be the 600 number, okay? So that's the F7, and the the asterisk is times in the formula, so F7 times, and then you look at G7, which is the 9%. So basically 600 times 9% is what's going to be your total over here. So each one of them, if I click down, all it's going to do is going to go, F and G are going to stay the same. It's just going to be what level you are over here, what row you are over here. Okay, you see that? So if you got anything here, these numbers are going to change as you go down, but it's going to draw from the same F column and G column. Lizzie. Sorry, let me get my dog.
So I will ask her in a minute where to find the formulas. I'm going to be really honest. Again, this is not my forte. So, Michelle, they asked about the formulas. And so guys, so let me explain something. So if this is uploaded, okay, when this is uploaded by Michelle, and I'm going to see if Justin, whenever he uploads this on her channel, if he can take this, I'm going to have her send it to me and make it to where it's in the comments so you guys can actually take it and use it. But I'm going to be honest. I don't know if that's like possible. So just
the formulas are already embedded in there. So when I email this or when we post this, the formula is embedded in there. So if I change this percentage right here, let's just say, well, let's say that Anna was promoted to director. So instead of 7%, she's now going to get 9%. And when I hit enter, it's automatically going to change that. Okay. So it's already embedded in there. You don't have to change anything. Okay. And once you get, let's just say you get a new teamie. All right, let me show you how to add a new teamie onto your thing. So what you want to do is you come down to the last number. Okay, so you come down to the last number and see how my arrow is over here? You're going to highlight the whole entire thing. Okay, you want to highlight the whole entire row across there. And you can either right click. No, wait a minute, hold on. Right click. I have shortcuts on my thing. So if you have shortcuts, that's a lot better than this. All right. So anyhow, it won't let me right click, but I have a shortcut right up here. See, it says insert sheet rows. So you just want to insert a row. All right. You can find those on your toolbars, or you can go into insert, and you can also do it this way too, where you go to rows right there, insert a row. It'll do the same thing. If I click that, it's going to add another row. All right. Okay, so there was my 2 rows. There's either a shortcut on your toolbar that you can add, or you can go to insert a row, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this number 30. And they joined today, which was 6/1/2020, best decision they ever made. And this is going to be Nicole Matthews. Great job for joining. She's going to join in as an essential consultant, and because she is the bomb and she's been having a party when she joined, she's coming in at Shooting Star with 525 PRV in sales. All right. So the first one is already going to figure up this one right here, TWV, but you notice this one over here hasn't figured yet. That's because I don't have her percentage in there. So if I put 9% in there, then it's going to show up to be 35.44. And it's going to change what my final paycheck is. Okay? Anybody have questions on how to add a teamie? Once these are already in there, I mean, once you get this sheet, you can plug your people in there. It doesn't matter how many people you have, just keep on adding rows. Okay? And I literally pull this from the workstation, from our downline report. And if you have to change, like I said, if you have to change, let's just say this person promoted and is now a star, double promoted. So you just change that 9 to 5. And it's going to change that to 5%. Any more questions?
Not that I see. So let me see. So someone asked, how would you do this if you have no idea how to use Excel? So I'm going to tell you guys one of the greatest tips you'll ever learn. It's called Google and YouTube. So if it were me and I was trying to literally learn how to use Excel and the ins and outs, like she's going to post this. So this will be available on Anchored In, and it is your leader's responsibility to share it. If Justin has the ability to take this and put it in a Google Drive so it can be opened and edited, he will do that as well. But if it were me, I would just go online and I would literally type in like how to use Excel. I would specifically go to YouTube because I'm visual, and that way you can learn more if you want to make your own formulas, all that kind of stuff. Now, when it comes to any, so someone asks, is there a sale for the 2K 5% bonus, Michelle?
The only thing I do, because it's going to equal out the same, is I change that to 30%.
Does that make sense? Yep. So she just changed the percentage.
Yeah. So whenever, instead of adding another line in there, if you know you've hit your 2,000 PRV in right there, I just changed that to 30%, and it's going to give me my 600. So once I reach my 2,000 every month, I go in and I adjust that 30%, that to 30%, so I'll know exactly what it is.
And then it's cool. So there's people commenting as well. So if you really want to get sorry, it's been a long day. If you want to become a master in this area and you know this is the way you're going to want to keep track of different things, there's a bunch of different resources to where you guys can learn how to do it. Okay. So Michelle's kind of just giving y'all the rundown, and that's why it's so important that y'all ask questions right now on how to do this kind of stuff. Because I know, Michelle, they were like, how do you do it in color and all of that? I'm assuming, guys, she probably just highlights it.
I can show you that. So right here, you see the little fill color? That's how I do it. I'm very visual. So let's just say I'm going to take all of my certified people. I'm going to start out with them, and I want to change them to blue. No, I'm blue. My own self is blue because I like Carolina. Let's change them to orange. So you just pick a color, whatever color you want to change them to. And then you would just click on each one of these. Once you change it, it's going to be changed. If you want to get like all of these in a group, you click on that one, you hold your mouse down, and then you drag it down. And you click on that, and it changes all of those colors. There's another one. If you want to change your leads to yellow, you can change all of your leads to yellow. So I'm totally down with all the colors. I leave my front line purple, and I'll show you another reason why I do that in just a second. Anybody else have any questions on this before I go over to the other thing that I want to show you? My front line is always purple. So when you see the other page, if you watch the video, the other time you saw the different levels, those are all different colors. But for me, this is just my front line. So this is why these are all purple. Doesn't matter about their rank or whatever that they are to me right now. It just matters that all of these people I've personally sponsored, and these are my front line that I'm working with. And this is, your front line is how you figure up your paycheck. Okay, no other way. So there's no need to add anybody else in here other than your front line and what their TWV is.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw out there too, Michelle, this is really important, you guys, because you should know. I ran into recently with a leader, they said they didn't know like how much they made off anybody. So number one, your performance tab. When you click your reporting tab and click performance, in the bottom left all the way down, it says commission history. So what Michelle is, and in commission history, when you actually click that when reports run on the 8th, or when commissions run on the 8th, sometimes it is the 8th, other times it's the 9th. A lot of times it'll be the 8th though. You're seeing how much you've made. What Michelle is doing, and I kind of feel like this is why you started doing this, Michelle. Number one, you need to see who you're making the most money off of. That is not in a bad way. It's in a smart way. And I'm going to be really honest. Recently I've had certain people say different things like, well, Chloe doesn't focus on da-da-da-da. Guys, you have to focus on certain people, and it's not being dumb. It's called being smart. And so you can see, too, the reason she needs to know the rank is because as you breed leaders, you're making more money off the TWV. So they are getting paid, and you are getting paid. It's going to show you who to focus on. It's going to create habits that are going to help you to understand, like, y'all should know what the PWV is. Y'all should know what that means. So backtracking to all of this that Michelle was saying, especially those of you that are leaders or you want to be a leader, okay? In my opinion, this is a great thing to start early on, up to even director and even above if it still works for you. As Michelle grows, she'll probably get to a point where she's going to be like, Chloe, we need to switch it up and do something different. It'll probably still be Excel for her. But this is something to me right now that you guys need to be focusing on, because it's going to show you who you need to work with as a priority. And what I have seen is there's a lot of people that are trying to save people instead of looking at the ones that you know need to be that priority on who you need to work with. And again, I don't mean that in a bad way, and I hope it doesn't sound bad, but guys, if you haven't gotten to this point yet, you're going to get to a point where you can't work with everybody all the time, right? And so I'm sure Michelle even saw as she was doing this, one of her newest star directors, right? Her name is Anna. Anna is on this list. And so I know for a fact she saw Anna was a star consultant, and Anna didn't get paid a title. So that also prompted her probably to be like, okay, her PRV was like not 500. What, you know what I mean? So there's all these different triggers. I feel like something like this is going to embed into you as a leader. So sorry, Michelle, but I just wanted them to understand. It's like, yes, your paycheck is important. You want to know how much you're making, right? That's super important. But this is also going to show you who to work with, what's going on, you know what I mean? All that good stuff. And so question, Katrina said, so the PRV is everyone that stars team, or just the stars PRV? So the PRV is everyone on that stars team. Yeah. So on that stars team, no, that is the PRV of the consultant. Michelle, explain that actually.
Yeah, the PRV is actually the consultants, the TWV, and these are just fake numbers. So if they don't match up, that's probably why. So the TWV is just the numbers that is actually what the group is actually doing.
That's a good question, though, Katrina. So what you would do then, Michelle's like, if Chloe, if I'm up here, or say, yeah, whatever. Anna's a lead, so say Anna's PRV was 1120. Would you have to click in the TWV box if she had a bomb team and put a separate TWV number?
Yes, this is, okay. I just plugged this number in here. That's not really like what it should be. Let's just say Anna was like 1230, like that. Yeah. It's just pulling it up because of the number that I put in here.
But then next to that purple box that's now 922 that says TWV, that I am confused on that as well. So what is that the TWV of that director right there?
That should be.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, hold on a minute. Yeah, that's the TWV of the person, not of her. That's just hers. That's not her whole group. Yes.
That's just hers. Okay. So we're not doing, this one is not to see how much you get paid off of that director's whole TWV then, correct?
No, this is just for my paycheck, just to see.
Okay. So that's, even though with your paycheck, Michelle, you are getting that TWV from that director, lead, star, SSC's entire team.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But that's on, I got all that on a different spreadsheet.
Oh, good. So she's going to show you all different spreadsheets. Okay. So moving on, y'all. These are really good questions. I'm telling y'all, I'm confused too. So I'm learning with you guys.
Let's see. I quit sharing it. No, because my window closed. All right, hold on. Let me pull it back up.
Yeah, great. That was a really, really good question for sure. Yeah, and Mary Marshall, it's definitely something that you guys, this is the thing. If y'all want to be good at something, you got to practice, right? So the reason Michelle's so good at this is because she's practiced. And so This is something where if this is the type of way that you're going to use the system, you have to practice, you know what I mean? Learn, watch videos, all that good stuff. So you can, if this is something that's going to make you tick, then, you know, this is something just the more you practice, I always tell people, if you want to be a master, you got to fail and you got to practice a lot. All right, cool. It's up, Michelle.
Okay. All right. So this is my big spreadsheet. So this is where I plug in like the TWVs and for their actual teams. Like I do have the PRV in here, but it's not formulated. That's just for me to see who's active and who's not active on my front line. This is the one that I have the most information on. So I do have, all of this is the same, but I also have if they're going to be paid at title, ones that are on promotion watch, if they're active for the month, if they have their 500 PRV in or not. And then at the bottom down here for Shooting Star, these are the ones that are like new that just joined. I like to keep up with their Shooting Star date as a reminder, just so I can look at all of this stuff at a glance. And then I have the PRV, the TWV, and the projected pay. Then if they've done their first things first checklist, because you can't hit sensational start if they don't do that. So this is a reminder for me to send out information to them to do their sensational start. This is their track date of what their date should be to hit that. And if they did hit it, then what level did they hit, 1, 2, or 3? And those are what's highlighted in red. And then how many recruits they had and how many reinstates they had. Over here is where, I don't know if y'all have seen those calendars that they put out that have the tracking numbers on them. This is where I just keep up with my daily GWV to see if I'm on track to be paid at title. And I have Star Director and Superstar Director because I will be paid at those one day. And then it's always good to see where you're falling in all of these numbers. And then the growth of my team day over day, because now that we have directors on there, the team is split. So this is my group and this is my team. So basically this is kind of like where I keep up with things at a glance, and this just kind of helps me see as far as my front line again. That's why it's purple. You know, my front line of things that I kind of need to keep up with, you know, and see where they are as far as their Shooting Star, sensational start, and their PRV, if they're putting in, if they're working or doing any of the stuff.
Somebody asked Michelle, Kimberly said, does this sheet sync with the last one, or do you enter numbers all over again? I'm assuming you enter them again. It's a different sheet, right?
Well, honestly, this doesn't hurt my brain. This hurts Chloe's brain and Felicia Rhodes' brain, people like that. So I made that little tiny paycheck sheet just for them.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the one that you use, right? Yeah, this is the one she uses.
Yeah, this is the only one that I use. And reminder, these are the people on my team, but these are not their numbers. That's why it says training. So these are not their numbers. So don't go turning me in for turning in numbers or nothing. These are dummy numbers that you can go in and just kind of figure out, you know, same thing, putting it in there and it adjusts, you know, to the projected pay or whatever. But this is the one that I use for me. It lets me know, you know, where my front line is, where they are as far as getting active, who's working, who's not working, who's getting ready to hit Shooting Star, you know, and who's recruiting. I like to know who's recruiting and all the things, who's going to cancel. So this is the one that I use because this doesn't scare me. So this is kind of like the one that I use. But it's basically like the other one. I just have more information on it because I like to kind of sit and kind of look. And I also have, not on this one, but the one that I have with my actual team in it. I actually have down here at the bottom, I have back like all the way back through last year. So I can go back through like September, October, November, and just kind of look at a glance, pull up this sheet every single time and just kind of look at a glance and see where we were, you know, month in. And I'll put our total GWV at the end of the month and our numbers, and I can come over here and see how we were tracking, you know, all month long to see, and I can just see back at a glance really fast about how my team is working each month.
And Michelle, you don't have your customers on this, right? You use Maven, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she uses Maven on her phone for this. And what I'll say, if some of you are super into this kind of stuff, this is going to be really, really good for those of you that, again, so this is like the real version of what Michelle uses. So if you're not tracking, you know what I mean? Like, she has 500 PRV leaders. Like, that's important when you are an up and coming, like, you want to be a director. Like, you need to be looking at who you need to work with by seeing, okay, who hit the 500 PRV. That's showing Michelle who she needs to work with the next month. So again, these are all things that are who hit shooting star. That's a reflection not only of them, but of Michelle as their sponsor. These are ways, you know, that she is tracking her entire business at a glance. What level of shooting star did they hit, all that. Now this version, Michelle, is because clearly they like this one better, which of course they do, they're Excel people. Is this blank version going to be uploaded? Or
I will make one. I'll take my people out and I'll make one. Yeah.
And guys, give her some time. It's the first week of the month, so we're going to give her some time. We're going to give her a week to make it. When it's made, it will be posted.
I'll do it tomorrow. It don't take me 5 minutes to do this.
See? Good. Let's see. Nicole, you should know. Nicole, you know how you get paid, right? So we get paid off of your Frontline's TWV. So if you have a Frontline SSC, you get paid off that Frontline SSC's TWV. If you have a Frontline, the whole TWV. You have that, again, that's why it's so important to build leaders. Certified and frontline leaders, frontline. And that is why Michelle tracks this, again, because she wants to see the efficiency of, like, you know what I mean? Like, of how she is launching them and everything that she's doing. The other sheet is a smaller version that was pretty much just meant to show you guys how you get paid. Now, I know some of y'all were confused. So, like, she could probably do it to where it was something like this. And then the PRV, I'm assuming, Michelle, it's a separate calculation, like whatever their PRV was. Like, if they're a director, right, that TWV is going to be probably a different formula, right, Michelle?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yep. And so, like, this version, y'all can see it calculates. So, like, where is one of her, so like for Anna's, for example, Michelle, do you have it to where you just type in her PRV and then you probably type in her TWV and it shows you how you get paid, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember, these numbers are not right. So if you're looking at this for these numbers to make sense, I've been like playing with all of these numbers, so they're not right. So they're just kind of like, I know there's no way that she can have 1349, PRV and still have a TWV of 1,000. I know these aren't right, but because I've been plugging them in. Mine's right now. I can't show you mine because that would be like wrong, but mine is right. So when you do yours will actually look out right. But I can go in and do that to, like, when you do plug in, I can make all different kinds of formulas in here to figure out our numbers and stuff. But for me, this just, this is like where I keep up with most of my other stuff, and then I'll just for fun, I'll just plug in, my paycheck numbers and stuff. But this is where I keep up. Because, I mean, honestly, if you're not adding people to your team that you personally sponsored, there's no way you're going to survive in your business. If you're not recruiting and you're not sponsoring, there is absolutely no way you will survive. These people right here are the backbone of your business. If you have 7,000 people like Chloe does, they all started with her personal recruits. Yeah. I have 20, well, on this thing I have more now, but on this thing I had 27 personal recruits. These are people that I personally recruited, but my team is 130 some, we're over 140 now. So what I'm saying is, yes, you have to figure out that in order for your business to survive, these people right here is what drives your business, okay? Anna's team is huge now. They did really good last month and the last couple of months in sponsoring and everything, but I started with Anna. Anna's mine. You know, all of these people on here are mine. You know, you train your people up to grow their teams, and that's what's going to grow you even bigger. But you've got to start out with a front line. If you don't have a front line, there's no way you can survive, because if you have 2 or 3 front line and 2 of your front line are killing it, sponsoring all the people, then you know what? It's going to get bottom heavy over here, and they're going to leave you over here with your 4 people that you've sponsored. And even though they are under there, you know, it's not going to be, you got to grow with your team. So if your team's growing, you got to grow with your team. I mean, that's just how it is. If not, then your team's going to leave you behind. And I don't know any other way to put that and be nice about it. But you have to lead from the front, you have to recruit, and you have to do the things that you're asking your team to do. If you want to grow a large team, you have to show them how to do it. And the only way to do that is going to be to sponsor. You can't go out and say, well, how many sponsor conversations did you have? And you only had 2, and you know, they had 10. You know, you can't do that. You can't depend on your team's team to survive in this business. You just can't. You have to build this strong, because these 27 people are the backbone of Scented Shells. Okay, they're the backbone. Even though they all have their own little teams and everything else is broke off, these people are the backbone of Scented Shells, because those are my personal sponsors.
Yep. Yeah. And like she said, you know, it's so important that y'all are keeping track too of like how they're doing and what you're doing. You know, if
Let me
you're
show you
not,
the next one. I'll show you my group. So this is my family tree. All right. So this basically is everybody. So remember when you said, we talked about how you like colors and different stuff like that. So this might be helpful for a lot of people now, but this is who I call my family tree. So remember, what did I say? Purple is my front line. Okay, so these are my front line people. Green is the second level. So this just means that my front line sponsored the people that are in green. Okay, and then the green people that Caitlin sponsored, Jordan, Tony, and April has sponsored her own people. So this third level is the blue level, okay? And then out of April's team, her personal sponsors, Miranda's growing her team, so she's sponsored here. So we can go out as many levels as you have. All you got to do is click this, and you can, it's back there, but you can go to insert a column, and bam, there's your 5th level. You know, so it's as easy as adding another person in there, change this color, and change whoever this person, you know, has done. But this is kind of like what I call my family tree. All right. So this is when I promoted to director. This is what I had, and I updated this very frequently because I needed to see, for one, when I promoted to director, we had our incentive last year, and I earned level 3 of that incentive. Also, to go on the cruise that got canceled, but that's okay. To do that, I used this spreadsheet because it was really important, because one of the things in the fall incentive is they're going to look at how you're training up your people. Are you promoting your people? Are you not just like bringing them in, but are you actually promoting your people? Because we got extra points, if you remember, or if you don't, get ready, because it's coming again in the fall. We got extra points from promoting to certified, to lead, to star. Okay, if you promoted those people from certified to lead to star, then you got extra points, and you were able to like get your incentive to 1, 2, or 3. This sheet right here is how I did that. And the way I did that was I kept an eye out on what they were doing. So let's just say, you know, Tanya has her people here. So you have to sponsor in order to promote somebody to lead. You have to sponsor more in order to promote somebody to star, and you have to sponsor more in order to promote somebody to superstar. So this right here, you know, she has her 3 people here, and actually one of her person has another person, and then she has another person. So Tanya has actually 4 people in her downline that she's sponsored, but I can look over here and see, you know, this is her PRV. So I know she has enough of leadership PRV that she can do that with, and her team is working. Okay, so this is an easy way to look at it and see if her team is working, to see if she's going to actually be able to hit those numbers in order to promote. There was another one down here that we were looking at last week. Let's just say Nicole was, these are fictional numbers, so she was doing great. She sponsored 3 people last month, but she's the only one that's putting in orders. So evidently there's a lack of communication. There's not any training going on, or there's not something. So you can actually look and see which one of your people are actually working. You can look and see which one of your people are like 195, you're $5 away from being active and staying with us for 4 more months or whatever, so this is the way I call it, my family tree. And this is how I kind of check in on my people to see how they're doing and how their teams are doing. But this is where I have all of the colors in there to kind of help me see who belongs to who and the different things.
And so, Michelle, when you're updating this one, kind of walk us through. So, like, it's the beginning of June, right? The beginning of June. So, when are you updating the PRV? When are you up? So, and then the TWV on this one, is this the TWV collectively of that lead consultant and what you're getting paid off their TWV?
It's the TWV is like what this is right here. So yes, I'm putting ifs of each person. On this one it is. Not just my front line, it's on each person. All this is a screenshot of the workstation. Okay, so if you're going to my workstation, you're going to see Michelle, Tammy, Stephanie, Wanda, Kristen. It's all going to go through and do like, because you know how it does like 1, 2, 3, all the levels. As soon as you pull it up, it's like right there and who sponsored who and different things like that. So the reason I made this is because I was getting people, and I'm a very loving person, and I like to know who I'm dealing with, and I like to know who's on my team. So I was getting a lot of people on my team, and I was like, who the heck is Jenna? Who does Jenna belong to? Who do I need to shout out and say, oh, yay, you got a sponsor, So I'm just like, who are these people belonging to, and who's actually working? Who's sponsoring all of these people? So this just kind of helped me get a visual to send Miranda. Even though I didn't sponsor her, I could send Katie a message and say, yay, on your new downline team, but I can also send Miranda, just a quick message and say, hey, I see you working. I see you sponsoring this month. Congratulations, great job or whatever. Because to me, I'm an affirmation kind of person. And I hope my team understands that, I'm not like being nosy. I'm not being pushy or anything else like that. I love to be their cheerleader. So if I see somebody that I didn't personally sponsor that might be down in my tree or something, yes, I am going to message them. That's just the kind of person that I am. So I literally look at my whole team as a whole to see who's working, or to see, what I can tell if somebody's struggling. I can tell, if they've fallen off, if I've had somebody that I've seen on here and I've updated their numbers, and, it's been a month or two since they put something in, and the last month they put something in, they were like at 1,500 PRV. Well, something's wrong. Okay, whether or not their person that sponsored them has reached out to them or not, they're still on my team, and I still am just going to reach out and say, hey, hope everything's okay. If you need me, I'm here.
So when do you update it, Michelle?
Every day.
Every day.
It doesn't take that long. For people that know Excel, it does not take that long. It literally doesn't. I pull up my workstation and I'm just like going through and just typing all the numbers in, and just it maybe takes 3 minutes. Honestly, 3 minutes. And I do it. This is part of my morning routine. So this is just, I know every morning that I go in. Plus, it also lets me know if anybody sponsored, the day before, because their number, that new person's going to be in there and where they're going to fall on the tree.
Does that make sense, y'all?
But if you're an Excel person, this should not be scary to you.
Do y'all have any questions? Speak now or forever hold your for real. Yeah, and another option you guys can have is you could update this once a week or twice a week, depending on what your system is for when you do your team stuff. Okay, so if this were me personally, I'd probably update it probably once a week, but I'm also at a different place in my business. So you have to look at, as you grow, where your time is best well spent. So again,
I will tell you, as a Excel spreadsheet person, The people that wait the longest to update it, the longer it's going to take you to
I was
update.
about to say it's gonna be more. Yeah,
It's going to be more, and you're more than likely not to keep up with it because it can get so backed up. Like last month, we sponsored almost 70 people on our team alone. So if I would have waited, I would have been pulling my hair out going, oh my God, where are all these people? But as in a given day, normally you might have your team sponsor 1 or 2 people, so it's easy to go ahead and plug those in there. But if you, I mean, it's totally up to you. I don't like to have that burden. I like to just know the first 10 minutes of my morning is going to be updating checking my workstation, looking at my performance tab, seeing who's doing what, and updating my spreadsheets. Takes me 10 minutes tops to do this every single morning. And I know what's going on my team, and I know literally everybody that's doing stuff on my team and what they're doing. So
Yep.
it just makes it easier for me.
And it's creating, again, guys, it's creating habits. There's certain things that you guys have to learn as you grow to focus on, and there's certain things that you've got to identify. And so again, Michelle's not saying this enough, but this is how I know for a fact this is how she looks at who's performing, who do I need to work with, what's going on. You know what I mean? Oh, this girl sponsored 5 people. I need to make sure she's getting trained from her upline the right way. There's like a whole thing so you can keep an eye on your business. And for those of you that honestly, like, the workstation may overwhelm some of you guys. And that's probably why Michelle pulls it right here. It's one place. It's there. It's done. She doesn't have to go back into the workstation and see what's going on. You know what I mean? So, and the workstation doesn't do it like this. Like, you can't see, okay, like Caitlin, right? There's Kate, or there, so Katie, there's Caitlin Hall, and then it's who she sponsored, and then it's who they sponsored. It says it like that on the workstation, but it's just point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. So it's not as like
colorful. I'm very visual.
Yes.
This is easier for me to look at.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm very visual too. So like, I print my reports, but I actually highlight them a bunch of different colors depending on who the people are. So it's definitely like the workstation can be a lot, especially as you guys start growing your team. And you, again, like, I even love Michelle, go back to the other one with all the sensational start and all that on it. Guys, that is equally just as important as this one. Because, and Michelle probably loves that one as well. Obviously, she made it. But what I'm saying is, you as the sponsor, everything that she has on here is critical. Like, especially the 500 PRV for her leaders. Yeah, see all the yeses? I know they're dummy numbers, but again, she's plugging that in because when they hit their 500, boom, let me see what's happening. You know what I mean? Okay, or they, you know, they hit their 500 on the 2nd or the 3rd or the 4th or whatever. Okay, let me text them. They're rocking it. You know what I mean? These are all things that if they are your front line that you need to be looking at the best of your ability. Same with Shooting Star. Sensational start, guys. We don't share that enough with new consultants. Your new consultant should be striving for levels 2 and 3, period. Okay. And so again, this is a way pulling off the workstation, right? For Michelle to literally highlight over that little number when she's updating it and click red for whatever level. So then what's happening that morning, she's probably texting them and saying, oh my gosh, you hit level 2. Let's get to level 3. Right? So this is a way for you guys to track your front line. And that is very, very important. And I'll say, I'm not a guru in this because I have 167 front line. So, you know, track it while you can. Okay? Track it while you can. And I can't say if I would have done something like this early on, I probably would be in a better situation now. So start now. Start now. Okay? That way you can
definitely the sooner you start. Definitely the sooner you start, the easier it is. And another thing that I'm very literal with my people. So let's just say that, you know, she's got a date of June the 2nd, Jessica. So I know she hit sensational start level 1. I'm definitely going to be messaging her and saying, hey, I've checked your numbers. This is how far you are. You're only $250 away from hitting sensational start level 2. You know, what are we doing to get there and different things. I totally did that. Whenever I was promoting to director, I was making sure, and I was bringing up those leaders, I was making sure that they knew And I mean, we can talk about GWV all the time, but every time I would say, oh, you're only at, 2,400 GWV, and you only need to be to 2,500 GWV to get, to star. And they were just like, to me, I put it out there in PRV. That's one of the main reasons why I have these things over here, just so they know. Because a lot of people, when you say they're, you only need 100 GWV, well, they're literally thinking, especially if they're trying to grow a team and they're new, they're literally thinking, I'm $100 away. That's all I am. I'm $100 away. No, not really, because GWV is only 75% of it. So to me, I want to give them a real tangible number. That has helped me and my team a lot more than I can say anything has done. And the only way I do that is because I keep up with where they are. I figure it out in my head first, and then I message them. Because if you give somebody a small goal and tell them, like Jessica, you're 225 PRV just away from hitting sensational start level 2. Well, let me show you what you're going to get. Okay. And I always snap a picture of that little thing that you can all find. I always snap a picture and send that. This is what's going to happen if you hit level 2. Or better yet, you could already be there if you sponsor somebody and you get them active. You have the PRV for it. All you have to do is sponsor somebody and get them active, and then you're already at sensational start level 2. So you have to be able to look at it on a broad mind and know that you can just, these people right here, like I said, are the backbone of my whole team. This is scented shells to me. These people right here is what drives my whole 140 people that I have now. Because if it wasn't for all of them, it would just be me again, like I was for the first 2 years of my life. Because Tammy was my first consultant, and she joined on January 1st, 2017, and I joined in 2015. So if you don't have this to where you know what your people are doing, and you sponsored them, so you shouldn't be scared to talk to them. You shouldn't be scared to tell them that this is what, this is how your business is running.
Amen.
What can we do to get you there? You sponsored these people, they're yours. So you need to do everything in your power to help them grow and to get to where they want to be. This is their dream along with your dream, but it's their dream most and foremost. And if you don't know what their dream is, there's no way you're going to be able to help them.
Yes, Lord, you just gave me some energy. Guys, that's so true. And I'm going to be honest, like, we need to be doing this stuff. Like, if you're not keeping track of your front line this way, I would love to know what this group of 7,000 is doing. They probably ain't doing nothing on this level. So these are all things, honestly, that are critical. And I'm also going to be doing something like this for my front line. I'm going to evolve it a little bit, but to fit me. But when y'all are looking at this, y'all need to understand that, your team, and not everybody can, I don't know. I have a weird way of the way that I build my relationships and do all these things. But if you're looking at the numbers, right? And Michelle's a numbers girl. Michelle likes to see her numbers. She wants to see what is happening. These are all pretty critical things with your front line that you need to know. And especially if you're trying to build a team and you're trying to see where the leaders at in this, right? Like, where are the leader potentials? Look at, well, I know these are fake numbers, right, Michelle? But like, even I'm sure, like, if she showed her the real numbers, like especially with Katie, her daughter, Katie's had a significant jump, and now that she's sponsoring and doing all the things, like, it's just a really close and good eye on what your front line is doing. And
she was super close to superstar consultant this past month. She made it all the way up to over 5,200 GWV. And we worked on it, and we looked at that, and I was like, okay, you need to work with your people. Yeah, you got April on there that's sponsoring all the people too, but you have to have 3 frontline that are active. So you have to look at your stuff and make sure that your people that you're sponsoring are trained up, and they're putting in their launch parties, and they're doing all the things, because they were new recruits to her. Katie just started growing her team. And so, I mean, in order for you to train somebody up, they have to understand, first of all, that it's their business and they have to take care of their people first. And once they take care of their people, then those people are the ones that are going to take care of the people that they do. They're going to look at you and see how you take care of them, and that's how they're going to take care of their people, because there's no other way to do it. If you're training somebody, then you need to make sure that the way you're training them is how you want them to train the people on their teams. Okay, because you want to know, yeah, I really do concentrate a lot on, my front line and how they're going to do their stuff, and if they're getting their lunch party in, and they're messaging them, what do you need from me and stuff like that. It's just really important that you build that. I call it a firm foundation. That's what I called it. You can ask Chloe. I've called it a foundation. It took me forever to get to director, and that's okay. I'm totally okay with that. I'm a one time a year promotion person, so I promote once a year once I started going. But I totally believe in building that foundation, because if you have a solid foundation, and those people, all of my people literally work. I hardly ever have anybody that's not working, or if they're not working, they're going through something, and I'm there with them. I mean, I know, I have one person that's really sick on my team, and I have another person that's going through chemo, and you know what? I'm there with her. I sent her a message last month, and we were talking about it. She was getting ready to have a bone marrow transplant, but you know what she told me? She sent me a message, and she said, I got my orders to put in to get active. I'm going to do that before I go in for my chemo and my bone marrow. So you have to know who you're dealing with, and you have to know your team. You can't just sponsor and forget. That's the worst thing that you can do. You can't just sponsor and forget, because they are the foundation of whatever team you want to build. If you want to build a team like Chloe's, I'm going to get there one day, because I'm going to take care of the people that I sponsored, because those are the people that are going to get to where Chloe is, or to where Katie Lassiter is, or, whoever you're looking at. Those are the people that's going to get you to where it is. If you don't have those people and you don't have that relationship, then you can't live off of everybody else doing it for you, because it's just your team's going to topple. Okay, you can't sit over here with 4 people as your front line and expect your team to grow to 100 and you do anything about it, because you can't do that. It won't work.
Yep. Yeah, no, 100%. And that's why, again, like, we're also so big on active frontline. So, that Michelle's other sheet where she has her family tree, what is that showing? That's number 1, showing the front line, right? So she can easily look at that, right, and be like, all right, Katie, we gotta have more than 3, Katie, because we can't depend on 3, right? So again, it's showing this quick look at, these leaders that are coming up. Up until, we're going to do a compensation plan training next week and talk about passing over and what all that means. But up until director, somebody can out promote you up until director. Yeah. So it's important for Caitlin right now to understand that from Michelle, like when she's talking to her about growing your active frontline, that's why, right? We don't want April to just out promote her and then Caitlin doesn't get paid on anything. That's what happens up to SSC. And so those of you that are just hearing that about director, we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, I mean, that's everything that you said, Michelle, was literally bomb. So good. Do y'all have any other questions about any of these that you guys saw? This is your moment. Any questions? Everybody wants to be like Michelle, right? I want to grow up and be like Michelle, for sure. 100%. No, they're so good, Michelle. And it's such a good, again, like foundation that you've set for your business. And a lot of people, they're just not, keeping up with this stuff because they really don't know how to. So,
yeah, it really doesn't take that long. And when you make it a part of your, daily routine, it's a lot better. I mean, I know you told people they could do like team stuff once a week or whatever, but honestly, how many people do we have on here? 27? We had 29. Y'all have to be diehard Excel people to be on here, because we had over 400 people on that call last week, and I probably blew a lot of people's mind. But then the ones that really wanted it, this speaks volumes to them. And I mean, I'm going to go back over I I'll go back over this one and I'll make sure that I can add the column for GWV and make sure that all the formulas and everything when you plug it in, if you want to see the GWV and the TWV and all of that stuff, I can figure that out and put the formula in there. But I mean, it's just, to me updating this every day and then being able to just go in there and just look and see, this is scented shells at one glance. I don't have to click on the report to see this. I don't have to see who's close to certified. I don't have to see, who's active this month or who has their 500 PRV. And I can just literally pull this up, plug it in, and I'll know who to work with that day and who needs me or who needs me to reach out to them or whatever. This is an easy way for me to see that and to keep.
Michelle, the May group 2020, what sheet was that one? Click that one more time.
That's my family tree.
Family tree. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad we have somebody on here who's deaf, because it's really opening my eyes to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Giving the typed, you can have it to where it types out when you're doing the training. So I'll have Justin figure out how to do that. Do y'all have any other questions at all? Any questions? All right. So
I hope it helped. I really do. I wanted it to be very interactive. So
yeah.
And I'll put those sheets up. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, but like I said, I'm going to Raleigh with Katie, but I'll spend some time tomorrow evening and make sure all the formulas are right. And I'll take the numbers and the names out and stuff. And that way you can just have a go-to sheet just to kind of plug your people in there.
And I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna stop the recording.